Our good friend Dave Grohl, who we got to get on the show, was the drummer for Nirvana. So there's the tie-in, folks, to the great city of Seattle. Our good friend Mark Taylor-Canfield joins us from that great city. And he and many others are out there fighting the good fight on the minimum wage, which, of course, Seattle and CTAC has raised to $15 an hour. And, of course, we hope everyone is following suit, both in Illinois and in Wisconsin. We continue talking with Mark. There's also an issue of guns that is on the ballot there. What's the latest on that, Mark?
Well, I will be writing about this over at my blog at Daily Coast. It's a very controversial set of initiatives on the ballot right now in Washington State. Initiative 594 would call for background checks for purchases at gun shows or online. Then there's a competing initiative, 591, which is supported by the National Rifle Association, which would bar the state government from confiscating any weapons and would also bar any kind of background checks until there's a federal standard for that. Because at this point, it's being taken care of state by state. There is no federal legislation on that. So it's very controversial. The NRA has raised a lot of money, and there are actually a lot of hunters in Washington State. There's a lot of wildlife here, and hunter, fishermen kinds of people who really want to hold on to their guns and want to be able to buy them privately and not be interfered with by the government. But there's also been a shooting lately at a local school. It's a story that's been spreading across the country. Well, we had a shooting here where 2 students were killed just about a week ago. So it's really shocked the community, and there's a big push towards, getting people to get a background check when you buy a weapon.
Very simple. Most European civilized countries do it. Only here in America that we have the wild, wild west approach. Of course, as I said earlier, the minimum wage is a big, big issue in Wisconsin and across the country, really. But Wisconsin and Illinois are having it on their ballot. What have you heard on this issue since you guys, I think, started the revolution on that issue?
Well, a lot of the national organizing has come out of Seattle, and of course our city council member Shama Sawant has been a big pusher on this idea. But as far as I know, there's a new group popping up every day somewhere across the country in some city. If you go to Twitter or Facebook, you'll find at least a dozen sites where people are pushing the $15 minimum wage in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Oakland, California, New York City. It's really spreading. There's definitely a big movement in Los Angeles on that issue right now. So it's one of those stories, like I said before, that has legs. It's not going to go away. And the only problem here, we do have a little bit of a backlash, Jeff, and that is that our infamous paid signature gatherer, Tim Hyman, who was responsible largely for our version of Proposition 13, which caused our state government to go $3 billion in debt at one point, he is now pushing for a statewide initiative which would revoke the $15 an hour minimum wage in Seattle.
Outrageous.
On the basis that we cannot have one city with a $15 minimum wage. There needs to be a state standard, which is one of the things that the neocons have been using. They've been using that strategy to try to say no gun control, no GMO labeling, et cetera, unless there's a federal law that governs that. So these conservatives and neoliberals and actually I would say civil libertarians who say that they want the government out of your life seem to really push this idea about federal power when it comes to social issues that they don't agree with.
They take a dollar out of their pocket, they go berserk, and that's why we need to defeat them at the polls. Mark Taylor-Canfield, thank you so much. It is so good to have your input from the West Coast. I know we get more to talk about next time you're on regarding the marijuana issue, and not enough pot out there in the Seattle area, and we'll get into that next time you talk to. We'll always check in at Mark Taylor-Canfield. What's that blog one more time, my friend?
Get out there and vote, everybody.
I'm blogging at Daily Coast, so just Mark Taylor-Canfield, and I'm all over the place. We just did a bunch of national media today, so you can go to my Facebook site or my Twitter account. And
awesome,
thanks, Jeff, and Get out there and vote, everybody.
No doubt about it. That is got to be done over the next couple of hours. Thanks so much, my friend. Mark Taylor-Canfield right here on the Jeff Santos Show. Again, check him out at Daily Coast. Look, just the final minutes, folks, here. I just wanted to say just a couple more things before we go. Our good friends in labor, our friends throughout labor, they are out there, folks. All these groups that are out there, they're hustling. They're out there being the backbone of working class America. No 8-hour day without labor unions. No 40-hour work week without labor unions. They didn't make the rule. They helped pass it. You too can make a difference by your vote today. We get to keep the Senate. You get to keep Governor Quinn in Illinois, to elect a Burke in Wisconsin, to elect a Coakley in Massachusetts, to elect a Christ in Florida. And now your state, your Commonwealth, can give you and your family a better life. That's what it's all about, folks. Get out there and vote. Bring a friend. You only have a couple more hours left. If you're on the West Coast, maybe a little more. But we're down to hours. Make a difference. Get out there and vote. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank Sarah Billingsley for producing this broadcast with help from Jimmy NJ. I want to thank our great team in Boca Raton, Florida, Freddie and Gio, for all their great work on video today. Check it out, revolutionradionetwork.com. Of course, our team here at Emerson